I think Mercury's in retrograde because welcome to the Order of the Blazing Horse, your only Detroit Pistons podcast based on a mystical prophecy. I am one of those co-profs, Harry Morrow's touched by a horse, not in a creepy way, in a very consensual, ethereal way. Thank you, user B2G. Jug, I figured out that I messed that up as well. It's not you, it is me. Like I said, Mercury in retrograde or something. We're having trouble with the opening. We were having trouble with the mics. I assume we're good right now. Can you give me a what up, doe, if that's the case? And if so, I'm joined by my partner, my co-host with the most, my co-prof, the boss, all the way on the West Coast, Mickey Jacobs.
Mickey Jacobs, what up?
Dude?
What up, doe? What up, doe? We're just like gaslighting people.
Mickey, how are you doing, man? How are you living?
I'm good. As we were saying on mute, we had our opening game of Pistons basketball, and got off to a rocky start a little bit.
Much like this podcast, I should say.
Hey, that's how much we support our team, is that we emulate everything they do.
Hopefully it doesn't take us 3/4 of this podcast to get into it. But
find our groove, yeah.
We're there. What up, though? Thank you so much at user BJ2UG1CY9M. Does that mean something?
Shout out. I'm not gonna say that, but
you ever do that when you see someone's like license plate, which is clearly not vanity? You're like, what's that stand for?
What's Blurg 6?
Well, Blurg 6, why don't you go ahead and like and subscribe if you like mystical podcasts out here. We're here to talk about the game, to talk about world fame, and like we were saying, it didn't start out the way that we thought it was going to. I came in, we were so hyped coming into this. At least I was. Calling this team contender, which I still think they might be, but like this game was like a little eye-opening for how stuff went. And the first part of it, the first 3/4 of it was really, really rough. What were your overall like takeaways on this game?
Yeah, it felt like I feel like everyone said like the one thing that the Pistons can't do this season is regress. and it reminded me of like, the beginning of last season when you're like, oh man, I really want this to be different. And it just looks like all the same problems of like Swiss cheese defense, like just can't guard 3-point shooters, cutters, and shooting woes. It really felt like a blast from the past in a bad way. Yeah. But it's so early, and we were talking about, we'll get into all the details later, but we were talking about Duncan Robinson's terrible debut. Like really, really rough night. One for 7 from the field, 0 for 5 from deep.
2 points, a turnover, fouls.
Rough stuff. But you brought me out of my doldrums by telling me that, reminding me that Malik Beasley, Pistons legend, started at, had a 1 for 11 debut.
It wasn't his debut, but like very early on, I remember watching the team, and he wore those teal, like the respective.
Oh, the Threasley shoes. Yeah.
Yeah. YouTube. Okay. He normally just says YouTube user. Now he's got this bigger, longer one. But like, it's not like this team. I should remind people, I think the Pistons somewhere in this realm started 10-17 in the first third of last year. That's not good. And they were like 1-6 or something in their first. I'll relook it up, but early returns were bad last year. And where I was at last night compared to where I am right now, my overarching feeling about the game, which by the way, Pistons ended up dropping 115-111 to the Chicago Bulls in Chicago, down 23 points at one point, did come back and tie the game, which is insane. They didn't start doing that until like the second third of the season last year, come back and start like tying these games. So I was like, all right, you came back, you made some moves. That's cool. I like seeing all that. Very fun stuff. But like this hole was just so deep. And I think my overarching observation was this team does not have that gel that they had last year by the end of the year yet. And specifically with the vets that they signed and players like in their new roles, it just wasn't there. I mean, you could see in the preseason, Duncan Robinson, Cade didn't have that chemistry yet. And like, people were like, what's up with Karras? Like, I was like, I don't know what's going on with Karras. And
we only saw him like 2 games.
Right. And so like, Now we're seeing point guard Asar, which we only saw for one quarter in Philadelphia last year, which was great.
Look
Uh,
good.
or against Philadelphia, I should say. I don't know if it was a
Yeah.
home or away game, but like, I just don't think this team is that comfortable with each other yet in these roles. And it sucks when the first team you're facing has a stretch big, which is the bane of this team's existence.
Little Pistons kryptonite.
It sucks when Cade Cunningham's not having a great shooting night. He had a terrible game, a terrible 23, 10, and 7, only 3 turnovers with a steal game for Cade Cunningham.
Crazy that's a bad game, but it was absolutely a bad game. Yeah. You make some really good points. I think like so much of what Trajan's talked about and so much of what was exciting about this season is this idea of continuity amongst the core.
Right.
But with the new vets, like the fit is like, it's going to take some time. Like it's going to take some games to figure out. Like Duncan Robinson is a volume 3-point shooter with a quick release. He does not operate the same way that Beasley operates. The same sort of like it's a different play style. Like I like don't. Duncan's way more of a like rhythm dribble sidestep kind of like, it's not just that needs no space, let fly with the dude in your face kind of action, at least not yet. So yeah, it's going to take a minute to sort of figure out like as Asar gets more comfortable handling and they get more reps playing together, how do the vets integrate here? And how do we get back to that sweet, as you described it, gel?
Yes. Yeah. Are you gelling?
Are you gelling like a felon?
Like a felon? Like my least favorite from that commercial was I'm gelling like Magellan. It's like, bro, that doesn't even rhyme. I've been harping on perimeter defense, particular screen navigation, for a long time. Our perimeter defense, other than Asar, let some pretty average Bulls creators into the paint freely. Let's just get right into it. We're going to start this podcast with a segment we're bringing back from last year. It's one of our favorite segments, and we're going to cover all this, especially that perimeter defense bug, because like Mickey said, that perimeter defense was Swiss cheese or maybe 30-year-old underwear, just thin streak. You can't stop nothing.
It's full of holes. It's
right. And it looked bad. They were leaving people on the perimeter, people getting backdoor cuts. So we're going to bring back one of our favorite segments. Feel free to participate with your responses in it. It is, ooh, that's the wrong thing. It is
Real beef or nothing burger.
Yes, we're classic. So back.
Real beef or nothing burger, and we have some groups together. So Mickey, let's tackle that first subject because these guys are playing a lot. Do we have a problem with the vets? Is that a real beef or a nothing burger?
I think this might be a real beef, actually. And we're pretty like, this is a pretty homery podcast. We don't like to overreact, except for when we're in the
overreactor,
the trademark overreactor.
Purchased on eBay.
Yeah,
no refunds.
The proprietary overreactor. But no, I'm a little concerned. And it's so early, and like we're not trying to overreact. And I also remember last season being like, I don't love watching Tobias play, and he ended up being really good for us. So there's a lot of time to change, but like it's hard to imagine him being better than he was at his peak last year.
Yeah.
And I would argue that like I think last season he was just like a little loose with the ball, but his like go-to like his bag and his the way that he scores, which is just very like back to the basket, ISO, pound the air out of the ball. And he really has to work to get a mismatch on like red velvet, which is like not what you want to see. Like he should be bodying that dude. And I'm concerned about Tobias. I think Karras like has the ability to be a bucket, but I think we really need him to be more of, or like he was brought in to be more of a like a backup point guard essentially. And he does not look great, like controlling and table setting and being like a floor general in the way that like say Trey Jones did. And like say what you will.
A little pull behind the curtain. Mickey was telling me how great Trey Jones was.
I stand a Jones bro, dude. Yeah. I think the Jones brothers are fucking good at basketball. Hot take.
He's got a Joneson for the Jones. What up, Cam 52113?
What up, Doe? Yeah, we were just talking about we're playing a game of real beef or having a real beef or nothing burger. We're talking about the vets. I think we got a little bit of a concern. I think the one I'm least worried about is Duncan Robinson because there's no way that could be that bad all season. I'm gonna like chalk that one up to a fluke. Like shooters shoot, like shooters have off games. I'm more worried about like Tobias as our starting four and like whatever Karras.
Bryce, Arias, Mickey. Don't understand that? Maybe you do. I had to be cued in on what some slang was earlier today, so we're good.
Does he mean bright like our Bryce?
Agrees. You mean agrees with Mickey?
Bryce agrees, Mickey. Okay.
Bryce agrees.
Okay.
Okay.
I did read Bryce. We consume a lot of Bryce content on this
Frequent
pod.
guest on the podcast.
Yep.
The Nimbus 2000, Bryce.
And I glanced at the notes, but yeah, like Duncan, like, look, worst comes to worst, and he's a spot up shooter off the bench. Fine. And like his contract is not as bad as everyone thinks because it's non-guaranteed in the second year. And like, I'm sure he's still got, I don't think he's going to keep going 0 for 5 from deep, but it's the other two guys I'm worried about primarily. And yeah, I will say that Duncan, like in the starting lineup, if that's the plan, doesn't seem to be fitting well thus far. What do you think, Harry? Real beef or nothing burger on the vets?
Okay, so I'm gonna cheat a little bit. I'm gonna call this a what's up, Mark Carey? Mark Carey from Blue Sky. What a good dude. He says, "Hey boys, Tobias will be fine and very solid at times, but I do think he's going to gradually lose minutes to Ron Asar Stu combo." We're gonna talk about that a little bit. I have some stats from the 9 Stu 5 lineup, a lot of those lineups, but we're on the vets right now, and so I don't think it's real beef. I don't think it's a nothing burger. I think it's a turkey burger because it's not real beef, but it is a little foul, if you catch me. And
it's like a slider. It's like a turkey slider.
Sure, a little foul. And what my concern is with them, and this is what a YouTube user was saying before, the defense was horrendous. Yet, like horrendous yesterday. I rewatched the first 3 quarters today. Didn't have enough time to watch the fourth one.
Masochist over here.
Well, it wasn't the second time. But Tobias's D in particular was abysmal. Duncan Robinson, the shooting, that was a concern, but I know he can shoot. The defense was a serious problem. So many of the backdoor cuts are from those guys. Some from Karras as well, from like just like miscommunication stuff. And I hope that like the gelling will happen and they'll be able to stop this. And I also hope that Cade, Ron, Asar eventually becomes the starting. I think it will become the starting group at some point, and that should help. Ron needs a little help on D too, to be honest. Like he gets a lot of steals, he gets some things turned around, but like sometimes when he's off ball, he gets beat. He was responsible for a Modest Buzelis easy backdoor cut on one of them. Sometimes he can get beat around a little bit. Got to use that body a little bit more. But that's fine. My quick take on Ron, his like little mishaps are so small and are diminishing by the minute. He's on his way to being a fucking star without a doubt. But the vets on D have to come in and play better defense, and they're just not. If Tobias is going to get beat like this, we're in trouble. And again, we played Vooch, who's a great 3-point shooter. He shot 40% from deep last year, like on kind of volume. This game, what was he, like 4 out of 6 or something? He had a fair share of like 3-pointers go in, which, by the way, the first 2 wide open 3-pointers that Vooch hit were when Beef Stew was on the floor. So I don't want to hear Jalen Duren's so bad at defense. It's not like Duren played good defense either. Stu had a 4-block night. He still left Vooch wide open on a couple of these. That's more of it seems to be more of a scheme problem or just like a mentality when it comes to guarding stretch fives than it does like an individual player problem. And again, whatever, there's stuff to get into. Where I land with the vets and how I feel about them is we're going to this transition from where we had vets starting last year to now they're starting, unfortunately. And when Malik Beasley started for this team last year, it wasn't good. He was so much better coming off the bench than he was starting. And now we're just seeing that right away with Duncan Robinson having to start, not having the chemistry. We don't know how to use him properly yet. Missing 0 for 5 from deep. Huge bummer. Some terrible decisions. Oh my God. The one where he pump faked, went up for the jump, then tried to throw it back to Tobias in the third quarter. Jeez, Louise, please let me never seize that again, especially at little C's. Like so many E's coming out of me's. But with LeVert, I don't know. I don't know what to get out of this guy. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes who knows? Karras' defense in the starting lineup until Ron or Ivy forced their way back in. He's old and strong. We're all old, bro. This is the oldest people podcast on there. THJ, not a lockdown perimeter defender, but he did set the tone in the starting lineup for effort on D, and he had a niche for taking charges. We need a starter to set the tone on D. Asar, yeah, set the tone on D, and Stu gave up the exact same amount of points to Vooch in the first half. So people playing Duran are just hating. That's exactly right. People are hating. They're looking for it. Stretch bigs dominate us, and stretch bigs do very well in the league in general. It's hard to come by. I think Cade started out a little weak on defense in this game, and then I felt like his closeouts got better. Asar essentially took Giddey out of the game in the first portion of the game when he was guarding. It was like a non-factor, and then it's like, what are you trying to do? And then this team just like kind of blew up for a little while. It was overall bad. I need these vets to figure out where to be, how to communicate, and what the role is supposed to be. They really need to buy in on the defensive end in order for this to work. And if they don't, then see you later next season. The more I'm thinking about this season, what these vets are showing me is that they're here for a good time, not a long time. You know what I mean? Like you said, Duncan's contract easily tradable. I don't know what Levert's role is going to be in the long term. We got to be thinking about a replacement for Tobias in the future. We've hinted at who that could have been or who that could be in the future for the previous couple podcasts. But like this season, especially with Asar playing the point guard as much as he is, because Asar was playing point more than Karis LeVert was, a hell of a lot more than he was. And he also didn't really turn the ball over as point guard, and he had some good drives as point guard. We'll get into that like a little bit later. It's just, I think this season is way more developmental than I thought it was going to be. And the development we're seeing that's positive is, I mean, we saw in the preseason that Cade's a monster. Great. This is a bad game. We'll see how it goes. Asar looks good at doing more stuff than he was supposed to. That jumper looks solid. Ron comes in his first game. He's got 19 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. That's more assists than Ron was getting easy last season, plus 3 stocks, like hits all 6 of his free throws, hit a huge 3 at the end.
So Ron was huge. Ron was huge. Stu was huge. Like, yeah.
Those two dudes were enormous. So like if those 3 guys are developing, that's great. The big problem is the guys we need to know who are developed. Also, talking about Stu's looking like he developed more than anybody has and is like just a fucking stud at this point. 2010, 4 blocks.
Stu has gotten better every year of his career.
My Lord. And yes, the new 4 I want is a bad defender, but at least he can fucking hit threes, and at least he's 7 feet tall. And if we already have a bad defender, I'll take that, especially if he scores. That's another thing. We'll get into that, like the scoring thing in a second. But the guys that we need to develop, we need to see the development of are Duran, who wants upwards of $30 million a year per rumors, and Ivy, who wants similar to Jalen Green money per rumors. And if we don't see Ivy for the first month before this trade deadline, and Duran comes out the gates and gets 9 rebounds fewer against this Chicago Bulls team than he averaged against them in all 4 games last season, we're going to have some things to talk about here. So like, if the defense is that bad, that's troubling.
Okay.
And you're not making a case for yourself all that much. So that's where I'm at in the Real Beef or Nothing Burger with these vets, is that it's kind of stinky, but I also don't care all that much because I don't expect all that much.
I agree with you. And I do think they are rentals. And like, that doesn't mean like they fit in perfectly. Some interesting starting lineup ideas. YouTube user wants Karras at the 2 instead of Duncan for now for his defense. I think that's interesting. I think he's not a cone on defense like Duncan is, and I don't think he's like a sniper, but I don't think he's a guy that other teams just let shoot. That's interesting to me. Mark is opt-in double big. Mark wants to go. I mean,
it's trending right now, right?
It is trending, and I would argue that Stu's ball handling and shooting have never looked better, but I'm afraid of what happens if like they both get into foul trouble, if either of them gets hurt. I love Paul Reed, but like smaller doses are the best. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. You say turkey burger. I say maybe legit beef, at least for the sake of this season. I think you made a really good point in that this is like a developmental season. I don't think the front office expected last season to happen. And while they're excited and they don't want to regress, like we're figuring out contracts. We're figuring out which of the young guys we want to keep. Like, why lock ourselves in with like a big expensive fixture? But there's going to be some growing pains. There's going to be some adjustments that need to be made. And we're seeing that now. And yeah, I'm not shocked in retrospect. We always go into this stuff with like the highest of hopes, but I'm not shocked in retrospect that that was a little clunky. That was a little clunky to get things started.
Super clunky. I'm happy with the players who we've talked about over and over again who feel most like Pistons. Asar, Ron, Cade, Stu.
Yeah.
Like absolutely being the best Pistons last night. Like that makes sense to me. Happy to see it. Happy to see no turnovers except for that one in transition from Asar.
10 turnovers for the game.
That's
great.
Great.
Yeah, you're
super
right.
great.
You're right.
Only 3 turnovers for Cade, right? Which
love that. Love him protecting the ball even on a bad shooting night.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, with the vets, it is a concern, and that makes me. So Cam wants to know how are we going to navigate this Rockets defense lineup? If they play big, the 2 big is my guess. Like what as for what will happen if they play that same lineup, I bet Stu plays the 4 in that game, right? Why not?
I don't think that's going to happen.
You think it's going to be the same starting lineup that was this time?
The only time we saw the double big lineup was just like when Josh Giddey was shooting free throws. Like, I just don't think that's something that like, I don't think Tobias is going to be benched.
I don't think Tobias is going to be.
You think he's going to play the 3?
Yes.
You think Tobias slides to the 3? Is
that
what? Oh, sorry. That's what Mark said. That's what Mark said. Maybe
you're not losing a shooter, right? Like you're losing the volume shooter technically, but you get a new defender out there. If it's that size, you can't have the defense that they had last time out there.
I don't hate that. I don't hate that because I really like Stu's shot, and I think his release has gotten a lot quicker.
It looked good. It looked good.
And it's not just top of the key. Like it's the wing, it's the corners. Like he's willing and quick with it. So it's huge. And yeah, I think his ball handling looks a lot better. I'm not saying I want him to like pound the shit out of it, but interesting. I will be surprised if that happens, if they bench Duncan Robinson after one. And like, I know it's just lineup dependent, but like just because we haven't seen it before, I would be surprised. But yeah, if they're doing Şengün and Adams in the front court, we're gonna get just completely wrecked on the glass. So.
It's okay. So like let's talk that matchup just because we're here. We'll go into our next Real Beef or Nothing Burger afterward, but because that's the upcoming game. Let's talk about who elevate Tolu against Houston. Give yourself 4 bigs. I mean, maybe why not? You got games with them. I wouldn't hate it. And Tolu's looked all right. So with that starting lineup, that's Amen Thompson, Kevin Durant, Jabari, Şengün, and Steven Adams, right? That's the starting 5 they used.
Yeah.
How do you match up on that? Who is your matchup on that?
Stu on Şengün.
Okay. I love that.
Durant on Adams.
Sure.
You gotta go Thompson on Thompson, baby. You gotta go Thompson on Thompson. Who else can? They're like operating at a superhuman level. And what, Tobias on Jabari?
Yeah, and then Cade on KD. That's actually not bad. What now that I think that you say it, that kind of makes a lot of sense to me, and I don't hate it in the least.
I will say Stu is the only one that we have that can guard Şengün if this is what Şengün is going to look like. He was a monster in that OKC game, and that shot looks good. I feel like before he wasn't like really like the biggest threat from 3-point range. He wasn't bad, but now he's looking a lot like their best player by like a pretty healthy margin, and they have some good players. So.
Yeah, a YouTube user does say Tobias is actually a good matchup on the Goon because the Goon is that his real nickname? Because if it is, that's awesome. Yeah,
that rocks.
If it's not his, then
Goonin.
we got Magoon and Guath coming up in this year's draft. But if that is a good match, then great. Then you can play both those guys on Şengün, really end it out, and like. I buy it. I'd love to see Thompson on Thompson as far as like a matchup goes. And I think they're both like playing pretty well with like heightened expectations on them. So that'd be pretty fun to see. So yeah, I don't feel as bad about that matchup as I think I could. We'll see how the defense goes. Like I do think the team's gonna come back. And it's not his nickname. He just called him that.
I like that. I think you're onto something.
You got to stamp my man.
Yeah.
Or my lady, whoever y'all be.
Goonin for the Goon, baby.
I'm for it. The Goon. That's such a good nickname. God damn. But I think that matchup could work out all right. And that does bring into question, like, are we losing shooter? Is shooting a problem? And that comes into our next
Free beef or nothing burger.
and that is shooting a concern on this team? That was the big concern every analyst has. Like, they lost Beasley, they lost THJ. How are they gonna make up all these threes? They lost shooters. And then last night they shot 7 for 25, 7 for 24 from three, which is brutal. Brutal from deep. Cade was 1 for 6. I just think it was an off Cade night in general. So, like, not too worried about it. But only Stu made a couple, and he shot 2 of 2. That looked good. The vets that we talked about, Tobias, Karras, Duncan, combined for 2 of 11 from deep. Mickey, is this a real beef or is this a nothing burger?
I think it might be a little bit of a beef. I think it might be a slider. I think we might have a slider on it. And I don't mean to be doom and gloom. But
White Castle and the Little Caesars.
Yeah. Because like the whole thing that people were saying, Bryce among them, is like, well, if Duncan isn't hot, he's concerned about the spacing of this team. And Duncan was not hot. And nobody really else was either, except for Stu. And like Stu's role, I mean, it's cool that he's so versatile, but like, I think in the notes, Bryce even said like, that can't be your number 2 option. You're like, your backup center cannot be your like best shooter outside of Duncan Robinson. And yeah, I agree with you. I think Cade had an off night, but I think like, unfortunately, like even with Asar growing as a ball handler, and I'm like so in for that project, there's a really heavy load on Cade right now.
Oh yeah.
And you're seeing a lot of these shots come in short and flat. And I think he's like conditioned well, but I think when like the burden is so heavy on him, that's sort of what happens. I think the shooting suffers, or he has to take like a little more desperate shots. But I don't know. I like Karras LeVert's a pretty average, pretty average 3-point shooter. But like, is it like, you got to be able to get open, you know? So either the ball, I think the ball movement can improve because like, yeah, like
dude,
like we're talking about fighting over screens, but I just feel like our 3-point rotations were really bad, our defensive rotations. And like, I know we were talking during the game and they were shooting like 50% from 3. And I'm like, I actually feel like it could be worse when you're leaving guys wide open and they're just like rimming out or like in and out. I'm like, they could be shooting 60 right now. Like just the way that we're like leaving not just guys open, shooters open, and not just Vooch.
Yeah, it happened a lot defensively. As far as like our offense goes, I think when you said that we weren't like getting looks or like creating looks, it seemed a lot like we'd set a pick. As soon as the pick set, then there'd be the off-ball action trying to get moving. Last year near the end of the season, it felt way more like more stuff was happening all at once. There was plenty of motion, and this just feels like it feels like when you start the lawnmower up the first time and you pull it once and it's like really slow to turn over and it doesn't. And that's kind of what this offense felt like. I mean, we didn't even get any transition buckets for the most part up until like Ron kind of blew up.
Bread and butter last season.
That's what we did, right? So when it comes to the shooters in general, and we're talking about Sarr not being a shooter, I think the midi looks good. In all honesty, I think it's improving and he's getting it enough where it's like
better from the field than from the line, guys.
Well, I mean, he only took 3 free throws, but yeah.
So, yeah, and he only took 6 shots.
Yeah, that's true. It's very true. And he also made one after a whistle, so it's neither here nor there.
It was a deep midi.
It was a deep midi. He's good. Sarr's good. I'm not worried about him. But when it comes to the shooting, I'm worried if we don't figure out how to get Duncan open. If we can't figure that out, then that's trouble. And what Cam said in the chat is, imagine if we could have gotten Taurean Prince or Sam Hauser, but they went for playmaking instead. They kind of did, and I think that's partially because they were going after Beasley, and there were so many concerns. They knew, or it sounded like they knew they weren't going to get Dennis Schroeder back either because he got such a big role with Sacramento. So they wanted to get that. But in retrospect, if you're going to give Asar this much ball handling and it's working out, then maybe you didn't need Karras LeVert, and maybe another shooter could have worked. However, we drafted a shooter, and I think he looked pretty good in preseason. I wouldn't mind giving Chaz Lanier some minutes here. Like the defense looked better than I thought it did in preseason. He's known to be a score shooter. If you need shooters, at least shooter options at this point while Ivy's injured, why not give him some minutes here? Why not just give him a chance to see if we can get some shots off if the shooting is going to be like this? And if the defense, it's not like the defense can be much worse than what Duncan's was.
Yeah, and I also don't think we got like great minutes out of Javonte Green. You and I were texting during the game. We were talking about like, wouldn't mind seeing Chaz right now, just because it's like you're at a point where like, who are you going to pass to? Like, I love Asar, and he's doing well handling the ball. 7 assists, 1 unfortunate turnover,
which was in transition, which is crazy for him.
Yeah, but he's smoked some dunks and like done some things. Like it'll happen, but like really strong game for Asar, all things considered.
Oh yeah,
but like it's just nobody wants to shoot. Like nobody is willing to or able to get open.
Right.
And except for Ron, because he has the heart of a champion and just wants to let it fly at all times. And like, we love him for that. By the way, couple turnovers, did not shuffle his feet.
No,
I will say
his first like several gaffes all happened together and they were rough. Like it was a very rough start for Ron, but the close was absolutely phenomenal. The touches there, all that jazz. If he wants to shoot, great. Keep taking the shots. He took 4 threes. Take as many as you fucking want. I don't care if you get up to 7 threes a game.
Someone's gotta.
And yeah, we're talking about Javonte Green. Javonte came in as the backup 4 for Isaiah Stewart. And I get that. I like that. But if shooting is a problem and we want to get Ron more minutes, just get Ron in there as like the backup 4 and sacrifice a little size and bring in Chaz Lanier to get more shooting up, because the shooting was an issue. I want to see them score some buckets. Karis LeVert airballed his first 3. Javonte Green airballed his first 3. Duncan looked bad on his 3s. Like bring in someone who you drafted who you know can shoot the 3.
Yeah, I wanted to see Chaz in the game that's what we were texting about, and like just the way Karis can go get his own, but can't really wasn't really creating for other people's. I was, and rail me in the chat for this, I was like, wouldn't mind seeing a few Danis minutes as well, just because I think he I'm not saying he's as good as Trey Jones, and I know a lot of you guys are like, who the fuck is Trey Jones? But just his ability to break down the defense, he is a proven playmaker and can hit down an open shot. Mm-hmm. Like that's what I felt like. He's small. I will give you that. But
he was feeling it last night. He was feeling it.
Yeah.
So like,
Trey Jones. No, but I'm talking about Danis. I'm talking about Danis but he's capable. He's capable. He's the reason they didn't need to hang on to Lonzo.
Exactly.
Like having guys who can do multiple things. It's starting to feel like we've got guys who can do like 1 or 2 things, but I just the shooting, we'll see. I mean, we've got to create better looks.
It's feeling more and more like the vets are the guys who can only do 1 or 2 things at this point. And that's where I'm at. Like, I'm happy if the development's going this way, if we get more out of Ron and Asar, because if we get Ron, Asar, and Cade doing great, well, Stu's already there, I'm for it. And YouTube user says we had a possession late in the game. Defense stood 10 feet from Asar for like 5 seconds and he wouldn't shoot. Probably a good decision with the game on the line, but it screws up the flow. I do agree that like it does screw up the flow a little bit. And with the game on the line, maybe just fucking shoot that. Maybe just shoot it in the future. Just
the pump fake's not working in the regular season.
Right. So just let it fly. I mean, I'm not gonna be mad at Asar for
he hit a few threes last season. I like you gotta get, no amount of like alone in the gym is gonna do it. Like you need game reps of doing that.
You do start to give these vets some time to chill, Mark. You're absolutely right. It'll take some time. Duncan will probably have a 5 triple game soon and we'll be fine. I totally agree. Like that's why it's a turkey burger slider instead of like a real beef. It will happen. It's just I was personally hoping that it'd come in like ready and like we know what these guys' skill sets are. Let's get going with it. But it's just a bummer that it had to go this way in this game. But as far as the shooting goes, I think we have guys on this team who can shoot. I'd just like to see him shoot, and I'd like to see him on the floor a little bit. And I'd like to see them figure out how to get Duncan open. And I'd like Asar to shoot every once in a while, even if he doesn't feel like he can.
Yeah, just like while we're on the topic of shooting, and it's not at all fair to compare game one Duncan Robinson to, first playoff run in like years Malik Beasley. But you coined the Malik Beasley was 3 and V.
3 and V.
He was threes and vibes, and I really feel like the Pistons we were really missing like that presence because I just feel like so much of what made the Pistons of last season great was their togetherness and just their like love for each other, and like it will take time. Like
I agree.
Mark is totally right. Like this is not like to write off the vets yet, but Malik was really fun and everybody loved him and he meant a lot to this team beyond just like even if he hadn't had a historic shooting season,
Yeah.
he still was like a huge part of the attitude and the vibe, even being like a cocky son of a bitch, like waggling at everybody. But yeah, I missed it, and I missed it was also a big part of our transition game.
Yeah.
So I kind of thought Duncan was going to be kind of like that Steph Curry, not in terms of like shooting skill, but just like constant motion, like
Yeah.
running around constantly, like working to get open, and like he was being guarded by the other shooters, like Red Velvet and Trey Jones. Like it wasn't like he had like Isaac Okoro on him or anything, like guys who are like known for being defenders.
Yeah.
Man,
That's why I have a problem with him in the starting lineup. It's like if you want to be running around doing that stuff, it's so much easier doing it as a reserve than it is coming in and being a starter right off the get-go. But like especially with what they played one preseason game with him as the starter, it's so unfortunate, this IV injury for so many reasons. And
well, like since you bring that up, I don't mean to cut you off, but how different do you think this game would have looked if we had Ivy in the starting lineup?
a ton, like
I do
truly a ton.
I
We're
do too.
talking, let's just bring his averages from last year, right? Like if he shot what 6 threes, 40% and 17 points per game, totally different game. Like just absolutely.
If he
Also,
had a bad game, we probably would have won.
probably still in this game. I want to point
Yeah.
out some stuff about why like we lost this game. They shot bad from the free throw line. They shot 18 of 26. They missed 8 free throws, 4 consecutive missed free throws from Cade, which is nuts. One positive to pull from that though, Cade got to the line 10 times, which is twice his average from
That's
last year.
huge.
So that's a nice development. They got out rebounded in this game, which does not happen that often, especially in the offensive class. Oh my
Especially
god,
to Vooch.
oh my god, dude! Like so embarrassing. As
So
far as
that's our next. Should we move on to the next?
Real beef for nothing burger.
So Duran had a off rebounding night, and I believe in the last preseason game he had a like 4 or 6 rebound night. Last night he had 6 rebounds, and
you know how
I
many
think
he had in the first half?
previous
0.
how many?
0
So,
first half
Harry,
rebounds.
JD's rebounding, real beef or just a little nothing burger for you?
It's a nothing burger. This dude has a proven track record of being a great rebounder, like a truly excellent rebounder. And it didn't happen in this game. He got into early foul trouble, so he had to be like less physical all the way throughout it, so he can't like bang all that much or whatever. And it just felt like everyone was out of position. Truly, it felt like everyone was getting way too deep. Even on free throws, people were like under the basket trying to go for it. And this wasn't just a Durham problem. This was a almost everyone problem, with the exception of like I guess Cade, Asar, and Tobias all had a good amount, and I guess you kind of did too. You had 10, right? So like so maybe not an everybody problem as a whole. It was kind of just a Durham problem in general, but like that's his skill, like that's his go-to thing. And outside of catching lobs and getting buckets, that's how he gets buckets, is by offensive rebounding and putting it right back. How do you feel about that, Mickey?
I couldn't agree more with you. It's a nothing berg. You kind of said it all. It's like the thing he's best at. He put up some monster board numbers. I just think he's got to get back to that. I don't know if it's look, and like JD, Kate, like these guys have gotten off to slow starts in the past. I really don't think it's that much to worry about. I think as long as he can stay out of foul trouble, like that chemistry, like I don't want it to be the only play we have, but like that pick and roll is lethal.
It's insane.
It's a huge part of what we do. And Yeah, I think he's gonna kind of like get back to bread and butter and just like that to me is like a greater priority than even scoring. Like I want him to put up numbers, like especially with Ivy out. Like we need someone to score, but like Ron is emerging, Stu is cooking off the bench. Like JD's got to protect the glass because like there's putting up vanity numbers and then there's like playing winning basketball and like you can't let Nikola Vucevic beat you on the glass. Like you can't do it.
No, I mean he averaged
35-year-old Vooch and like
who's
no
also a perimeter
disrespect.
player. He's a guy who plays out the perimeter, so he should be
Yeah.
out further. Sorry, go
Yeah.
ahead.
No. It's I don't want to beat it into the ground. Like I'm really not like actually worried about it because I think he's gonna average double this season. Like I think we're gonna be okay. But yeah, it's just we're shaking off the cobwebs, and the more we talk about it, like I don't want to like rationalize or do like a play down to your competition. I actually think the Bulls played well. Like we need to play more like that, like with transition and cutting and playing fast because we're a young athletic team for the most
Ball
part.
movement on top of it. Their ball
Mhm.
movement was great.
It's really nice, and
Yeah.
they seem to be there. I listened to a little like there. I couldn't find like legit post game interviews, but Omari filmed Cade in the locker room and was just talking about we let them be too free, and like you really felt that like with Giddey like setting up Modest and stuff. Like they were really having fun out there, and it got me jealous. But I think you're going to see a different team against the Rockets. I think, you know, by virtue of the Thompson thing and Cade going to Texas, Ron going back to Texas, like I don't want it to be like, oh, we only get up for big games, but like I think you're going to see some fire there and they're going to want to bounce back. Because losing streaks can build really fast, and we got some trauma, baby. We got some. It wasn't all that long ago that the losses started to stack up really fast, and we're not overreacting to like the first game or even the first 5 games, but you want to get out in front of that. You want to nip it in the bud.
Okay. YouTube user wants to know, without looking at the stats, just gut feeling, who do you think had the better game, Ron or Modest? I think Modest did by a hair, like truly just by a hair, because they both had huge impacts. And if I remember right, Modest had 21 points, Ron had 19. I think Ron, I don't know what his shooting percentage was, but I know Modest was like 7 of 12. He also had 3 blocks. Ron had 3 stocks of his own. It just felt like Modest's presence was there throughout the game, and Ron's pushed us to the game. So I think they played productive-wise almost equal and had nearly the same impact. I just feel like Modest's impact was greater throughout.
His role was bigger. I mean, he was starting, first of all.
Yeah.
He's also a big body. I think I'll agree. And I will say he didn't hit a single 3, I don't think, but I was thinking to myself, man, we really could use like a Modest right now.
He was cutting something nasty, dude. Like my favorite thing about that Modest Ron game was they both had insane poster slams. Like both of them just like throwing it friggin' down. I loved it. I love a Ron Modest matchup. It's always fun. They've got a little rivalry.
I thought it was going to be a little chippier. That respect to them for keeping it cool.
I think they just like each other.
They do, but they're both fiery. They're both fiery boys. They like to go at it. But no, yeah, that was fun, and I'm really excited for Ron this season. Like, and I don't know, I'm quite tolerant of like those mistakes. You know, I don't want to see him like shuffle his feet or like step out or like sloppy little stuff like that. But like aggressive fouls, shit like that's gonna happen. Like I'm really just like ready to watch this kid ascend, especially this month.
Yeah.
Like I really hope he's the beneficiary of Ivy because like there's nothing good about Ivy being gone. Like I really want, like we've missed Ivy for so long now. All we want is to have him back, especially now that we're like trying to get a little continuity, trying to like see what's going on leading up to the trade deadline. But yeah, Ron's exciting, man.
Well, while we're on the topic of Ron, I want to ask, this will be my last real beef for nothing burger. And Mickey, this is just for this game, and this is with JB Bickerstaff. Do you have
free beef or nothing burger?
Do you have real beef or is it a nothing burger with Coach JB Bickerstaff for pulling Asar and Stu to close the game and popping in Duran and Duncan, I think.
Um, is it what I would have done? No, I really wanted to see Stu and Ron keep playing. But
Asar, I think. Ron stayed on.
Ron stayed on. Okay. No, I don't think it's a huge deal. I think they wanted the threat of shooting, like the spacing. But I mean, it's not what I would have done. But I'm not like serious coach like malpractice. Like this is a real beef, and he like doesn't make good decisions down the stretch. I think he wants offense, but I mean, like in that game, Stu was a better offensive threat than Duran. How do you feel?
I think it was a big mistake. Like, I'm not gonna. I hope after the game he's like, man, I really shouldn't have done that. But like that lineup got them to tie the game from being down, like double digits or whatever in a matter of just like minutes. Like it was working. The lineup together, even with the star on the court, the offense was busting moves and like. So what you're sacrificing with two players, you're sacrificing two very good defenders. Your two best defenders are no longer on the floor in that final minute and a half, right? And then you're getting in a guy in Duncan who has not been able to create his own shot or capitalize on a shot and has been incredibly weak on defense all game. You bring in Duran, who has kind of struggled on the boards and struggled defensively all game, and who, shocker, doesn't have as many points as Isaiah Stewart in that moment. What are we doing? Why are we doing this? Like, just keep those guys out there. Like, yeah, I get it. Theoretically, Duncan is a better spacer than Stu, but Stu was better in the game, and someone is bound to leave Stu more open. Plus, that gives you some room for Asar to slash. And Asar had been good offensively on top of that, and he's a good passer on top of that. Those guys were not turning the ball over. Between the two of them, Asar and Stu, they had one turnover all game between those two guys in like 50 minutes. Okay, so these are some numbers I'm going to bring up. I'm also going to give a shout out to Kuka Heel because I heard about them first on Locked On. I'm going to read two of the stats they had on there, and I'm going to add another one, if I may. In the 9-5, the pairing of Ron and Asar, they played together just over 17 minutes, almost 18 minutes. They won their points by 12. They scored 48, giving up 36. That's pretty good. When it was the 9-2-5 lineup, that's Asar, Cade, Stu. Asar, Cade, Ron. In 6 minutes, they won the point differential by 8 points. When it was 9-Stu-5, which is obviously Asar, Stu, Ron, they played almost a dozen minutes. They won theirs by plus 14. That trio was the best offensive pairing and a great defensive pairing on top of it. Don't take them out at the end of the game. Like, let them keep going. Let the juice keep happening, man. Like, I get the theory of what Duncan Robinson is, but if you have this evidence in this one game, go by that. Don't go by history.
Especially when we can't get a stop, like when we're like really trying to not just like score, but like stop the bleeding.
Mm-hmm. And like, bro, I got to say, the last possession was so fucking bad. Like these play setups they have to call where it's like everyone split and just let Cade ISO and maybe get a three, even though we all know he's going to shoot a three, is rough. And I mean, the shot wasn't great, but like he got it off. Then we got the rebound, and Tobias threw it up from his stomach.
That was
Sean
crazy.
Marion with 6 seconds left to go, like some insane desperation heave. Dude, Tobias was busted last night. That was a bad Tobias game.
Yeah. Yeah, and Mark was talking about how Tobias like will be fine and he'll be solid. Here. By the way, sorry, I don't want to get off track. Are you like concerned about JB in like a larger sense? Like, do you think that this is like
No.
endemic of like bad decision making, offensive, like, because he's a good defensive coach, but
No.
like, okay,
I,
all
I
right,
don't I don't
this is
I
just
don't
the
care. Like,
isolated. This is the isolated,
we don't have Spo as our coach. We don't have Pop, who's not even a coach anymore.
right?
Like, who fucking cares? He tripled our
Yeah,
win total last year. He gets these guys. He gets them motivated. I have the utmost respect for him. He called himself out for yelling at the refs too much, which he didn't do last night. No text for him. Pretty cool.
no early challenges either.
No. Did he have any challenges? Did he challenge at all?
Yes, he did, and I think we won it. It was the out of bounds play off that was called off Javante Green,
That's right. Yeah.
but yeah, and it got overturned. So there you go.
So like good for JB. I'm fine with JB. Like we're also not at the point where it's like where Tibbs got
The
bounced,
X's
right?
and O's, yeah,
Right. So
right.
I don't know. I don't know what it's going to be like when we get there. But like I hope, because he's a young coach on top of it, I hope he can look at what happened this game and thought maybe don't do that next time, and then hopefully we can come up with some better end these games played, because we also saw that that game against Miami in the play-in tournament, or not play-in tournament, but like the in-season cup, where was that lob to Duran to end the game against Miami. That's a sick play.
That was crazy. Yeah,
We
but we also had some stinkers, man. We also had
did.
we had Duran inbounding the ball
I
that
forgot
one
about that.
time,
That was
like
so
where it was just
bad.
like that was terrible. But like the
In the playoffs, no less.
The Tobias thing was maddening, because to get the board off that miss is such an opportunity. And yeah, so now I'll get to what I was going to ask Mark primarily, is like, here's what I'm like a little bit afraid of, is that like I feel like Tobias in this one game, so it's a tiny sample size, like the only thing he's got is ISO. And even those ISO buckets are hard fought against smaller defenders, and they completely like slow down the pace of the game. It reminds me of like when Jeremy Grant would
I
just
knew you were
like
gonna
try to
say
drive into like three defense, but like not as good as Jeremy Grant was at that time. Like at least it was like, all right, well, Jeremy Grant actually kind of has a shot at like getting this bucket here. So I don't know, just like flow of the offense, like size as your only true four. Like I'm a little worried about it, but I started off this way last season too, and he really shut me up. And it ended up really being his defense that won me over. So
Well,
that I
hopefully that
acknowledge,
comes back, because
yeah,
that was gone last night. That was
yeah,
so rough last night.
yeah. I mean, he did a decent job on Cat in the playoffs. So like it's there in theory, hopefully, unless like he's regressed an insane amount over the course of the summer. But yeah, we wanted Stu to stay in. We were talking during the game of like, is Stu coming back? Like but I wonder if part of it too, and I'm not trying to justify or rationalize for JB, if it's like about instilling confidence in your starters too. But like I agree. I think you got to feed the hot hand and go with what works. And those coup 9259 Stu 5 numbers are pretty cool, and they make me like excited about like the guys that we have that I really want to like shepherd, like regardless of theoretical spacing issues. Like if these guys play good together, they play good together. And like who cares if you've got like one okay shooter and one non-shooter? Like does it really matter if you're winning these possessions?
I mean, I still have high hopes for the team, and like you're saying, for like
Of course.
these players playing together. I want to see these combinations, and I'm happy that Ron was in for like the close. It's super cool that he was there. I would like to see a starter there. He's just like such a non shooter that it's like kind of a problem. But like keep the good players in during the game for that game. Like play it by ear, play game by game. See what
The best 3-point shooting team did not just win the championship. So
that's
you
very
know,
true.
whatever.
I'd still like us to shoot more threes. Personally,
I would too, and I think it makes for a better situation for Cade in general.
Oh
But
yeah.
you know, it's one game. We're gonna see a bounce back against Houston tomorrow.
Is that when it is? The
Is it
game's
tomorrow?
tomorrow?
It's tomorrow or Friday?
Yes,
Or
yes.
tomorrow or Saturday?
It is tomorrow. At 8 p.m. ET, Eastern time. Which is what time it is here right now. So 24 hours from now is when that game will be in. Do you have any more like closing thoughts on that game before we move on to like I guess the last little bit? We'll talk a little bit about some other news that's come in.
I'm good. I think we did a nice job of like expressing concerns, not to pat ourselves on the back here, but I think it's important to like express concerns without flying off the handle and saying we got to gut the roster and that this season is fucked. And if you've enjoyed hanging out with us here at the Order of the Blazing Horse, feel free to like, subscribe. We love bouncing off you like Cade is gonna bounce lobs off the backboard to JD for just like monster slams. Tell a friend. We're having fun. We're doing this every week, and it's exciting to have like actual basketball to talk about. Not that it wasn't fun talking basketball movies. That was cool too.
R.I.P. to BMC.
It'll be back. It'll be back.
We'll bring it back at some point. But yeah, that's what I got in this game. I look forward to tomorrow. Actually, after talking to you guys in chat, I feel better about the Rockets game.
Yeah, whole support group.
Yeah, you guys are so great. What positive vibes over here in the chat. And let's just touch real quick on the unfortunate news as far as the gambling investigation where Chauncey Billups has been indicted. Terry Rozier has been indicted. These are like two separate crimes.
Yeah, there's sports betting rigging, and then there's poker, like illegal poker cheating games with I never thought I would hear the FBI say in 2025 La Cosa Nostra.
I know, dude. I was like when they were reading the crime,
they're busting out the 5 families, dude.
Their names, it's insane.
Wild.
Also, if you haven't seen that press conference, highly recommend it because it is friggin' theater. It's so nuts, like how into it they are. First of all, for Kash Patel, say under Trump's administration, we only ensure due process while ISIS is like disappearing people. Get the fuck out of here.
Wild.
With all that nonsense, not to get too political, but then they're like congratulating people on like their near retirement and like they're all hooting and hollering. They're throwing in all these sports metaphors into that. They're like, this is one bet that you're not going to cash in or whatever. I'm like, who are you guys? Like, be serious. Be professional with this whole thing. Anyway, if you don't
know, in Valhalla, brother.
Yeah. If you don't know, Chauncey Billups has been arrested. I believe he had to turn himself in. He was arraigned in Portland for being part of this illegal poker scam with the mob, where you got to play with what were called face cards, which are famous athletes that you could play high stakes poker with, and they had cheating technology like X-ray tables where they could see the cards and
mini cameras.
They're
crazy.
Terms like quarterbacking this information to the players. You're losing hundreds of thousands of dollars. So tough look there for Mr. Big Shot. Pretty strange to do this in all general. I mean, innocent until proven guilty. And then the other one, the organized cheating scam for sports gambling. Jonte Porter was part of that. Terry Rozier is part of it. They said there are like 31 individuals who are associated, I believe. They're still investigating it. So no, Malik Beasley is not out of the woods yet. But just a heads up, Terry Rozier and Chauncey Billups are not with their teams anymore. So how nice would that have been if Malik had been involved or is involved and we had signed him? Bad stuff going around for all of that. Damon Jones, also former player and coach or whatever, is involved as well. But like, bro, gambling's no good.
Yeah, as everyone has already made this joke. Yeah, gambling is no good. This message brought to you by DraftKings.
FanDuel,
It's tired. It's true, but just thinking about this because I woke up to a text from you and our buddy Doug.
Doug Burns.
Doug Lust dropped another banger.
His first one of the season.
Banger. If you like KCDC and you
NYKCDC.
And that's good.
Hey man, I'm quick.
That's really good. That's really good. It was like Beasley exonerated, and I was like, what? And I'm like, check it.
I had that thought too when he texted me, and then I was like, ongoing. This is like an ongoing situation. All the more reason for chance.
But before we say goodbye, if Beasley were to be exonerated and signed by the Pistons on a vet minimum right now, would you slot him into the starting lineup, or would you have him coming off the bench?
Coming off the bench because he hasn't played basketball with this team in forever.
Or any team.
Right.
Or yeah, right.
So like,
okay.
No way he can start. Also,
So who
like
would you,
like I was saying before, he's not a good starter. Like that,
right?
that dude's a bench player. They're gonna keep starting Duncan until they figure this out, is my guess. Starting Karras isn't like a terrible idea.
Unless they go double big against the Rockets.
Right, which I do think they have a strong possibility of doing. If they do, then that says a lot about JB Bickerstaff as far as like his ability to, make changes and like to try stuff. So hopefully that's what goes down. Before we go, Mickey, do you have any predictions about the game tomorrow? And also, sorry, I didn't ask you about, would you start Beasley right away, or are you with me?
No, I think you're right about that, but I don't know. There were some interesting lineups brought up in the chat in terms of like, would I start Karras over Duncan, or would I start Stu and go double big against them? And I just don't think anyone other than Stu can handle Sengun.
Yes, I agree. You want to hear my hot take outside of this Rockets game? I do think starting Stu is not a bad idea. Double big
sizzle, bro. Sizzle.
Just start starting Ron, dude. Just put him in there.
I mean, I'm like,
just put him in there.
I'm ready for it.
Why not? Like, he looks good. He's got good chemistry. He is a spark plug. I know it's nice to have spark plugs off the bench, but like, I think Duncan's more of a bench player at this point. So
yeah. Plus, Ron wants to let that thing fly, man. Yeah. He really wants to shoot. And if we can find him open in the corner, I think he's good for it.
Yeah. And so, like, he doesn't have to make the threes. He just has to make defenders think he's going to take the threes and potentially make them. Yeah, and it's not like they were leaving him wide open. Right. Like, they were closing out on him. So that's handled. That's my guess. That's my hot take. Get Ron in the starting lineup sooner than we'd expect.
This is kind of a lukewarm take. I'm going to say 30 piece for Cade.
Ooh, I like it. Hope so. He's had good games against the Rockets in the past. So bounce back. Oh man, what is going to be my hot take? My hot take or prediction, I think Asar's going to have a better game than Amen.
You know what I was thinking? I don't even know if that's that. Historically, he's beaten him in one-on-one. If you listen to interviews, he's talked about how he's got the better record overall. Seems like Rockets don't mind having two non-shooters on the floor. I mean, granted, they also have KD on the floor, who's like one of the greatest shooters of all time. Yeah. So I'm not saying Tobias is that. I'm just saying it can be done.
I agree. I think the concept of you have to have 4 shooters or you have to have 5 out shooters is like a little bit overblown. That being said, I mean, I wouldn't be upset about it.
You know what I will say? I really think this is a game where Duren has to focus up on the glass, because Steven Adams will eat his lunch and then he will eat everyone else's lunch, because I just feel like that dude's got an appetite.
Oh yeah.
I feel like that guy can just put away food and just clean that glass, baby. So yeah, that's the only thing he's there to do is grab boards. So Duren's got to be locked in.
And like a couple of years ago, Duren kind of had trouble with massy bigs, right? Bigs with a lot of girth. And last year he showed that he's got a lot of girth. Tomorrow he has to be that guy.
Listen. We could talk Jalen Duren's girth all night long. And we have. You might be shortchanging him there, but
hey man.
But yeah, no, lots to look forward to. I think they're going to play with some fire. I think it's personal, it's exciting, it's competitive. It's a chance to show that we're taking this season seriously. Apparently, Cade found out it was Blaha's 50th season and said, we're going to give you something special. Mm-hmm. So Let's do that.
Let's make it special. All
Yeah.
right. Well, this has been a fun episode. And chat, y'all rock. Y'all
You're the
been
best. You're the
so
best.
great. So pumped to have you here. Thanks for being part of the team. And join us next week when we have even more to talk about. Let's watch Pistons. Let's watch the Pistons piss on the Rockets tomorrow,
Yeah.
if possible. That'd be
Yeah.
nice. As always, I've been Harry.
And I'm Mickey.
And we end the show the same way we always do, which is by reading the acronym for Order of the Blazing Horse, OOBH, aloud, because that's how a horse would talk anyway. So.